1985, Japan had won. Their yen was climbing, their exports were crushing American competition. Sony, Toyota, Hitachi, these weren't just brands, they were weapons. And the Japanese currency? Unstoppable. Then, 5 men walked into a hotel room at the Plaza in New York. What happened next would kneecap the Japanese economy for 30 years. And it all started because their currency got too strong. This is the part they don't tell you about winning. We're taught a simple story about currency. Strong equals good. Weak equals bad. It's right there in the language. Nobody wants to hold a weak anything. Politicians campaign on it. Central bankers defend it. A strong currency sounds like strength, like winning, like your country matters. But here's what's strange. Some of the fastest growing economies in history rode waves of deliberately weakened currencies. And some of the most spectacular stagnations happened right after a currency got too strong. So either the textbooks are lying, or there's a mechanism here that doesn't fit on a bumper sticker. Let's find it. First, what even makes a currency strong? It's simpler than it sounds. A strong currency buys you more stuff abroad. $1 gets you more yen, more euros, more pesos. When your currency strengthens, foreign goods get cheaper, vacations get cheaper. That German car, that French wine, that laptop made in Taiwan, all of it suddenly costs less. Sounds perfect, right? Now flip it around. When your currency is strong, your products get more expensive for everyone else. That's the knife edge. American farmers selling wheat to Egypt, German factories selling machines to Brazil, Japanese companies selling cars to America, they all face the same math. A stronger home currency makes their goods pricier in foreign markets. And here's the thing about global trade, it's ruthless. A 5% price difference can kill a contract. A 10% swing can crater an entire export business. So when your currency climbs, your exporters start bleeding. Let's go back to Japan. Through the 1970s and early 80s, Japan's economy was a machine. They made better cars than Detroit, better electronics than anyone. They were efficient, disciplined, hungry. And as they sold more abroad, more dollars flowed in. Those dollars got converted to yen, and the yen started rising. American politicians panicked. The trade deficit with Japan was exploding. Factories in Michigan were closing. The rhetoric got ugly. Japan was cheating. Japan was stealing jobs. So in September 1985, representatives from the US, Japan, Germany, France, and the UK met at the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan. They signed an agreement, a coordinated intervention to weaken the dollar and, critically, strengthen the yen. It worked too well. Over the next 2 years, the yen doubled in value against the dollar. Japanese exports, which had been the engine of everything, became dramatically more expensive overnight. Toyota's cars cost more, Sony's Walkmans cost more. The competitive edge Japan had spent decades building got erased by currency markets. Japanese companies tried to adapt. They moved production overseas, they cut costs, but the damage compounded. As exports slowed, growth slowed. As growth slowed, confidence cracked, and Japan entered what they now call the lost decades, a multi-generational stagnation that still hasn't fully ended. A strong yen didn't make Japan stronger, it made them stuck. Here's the uncomfortable mechanism. Export-driven economies live and die by price competitiveness. It's not just about making good products, it's about making products someone across an ocean can afford to buy. And currency is the tax on every transaction. When your currency strengthens, that tax goes up. Foreign buyers start looking elsewhere. Orders shrink. Factories slow down. Workers get laid off. And because exports often employ millions of people, the ripple effect is massive. But it gets weirder. A strong currency also makes imports cheaper. That sounds like a win for consumers, and it is, temporarily. You get cheaper shoes, cheaper electronics, cheaper everything. But those cheaper imports crush domestic producers. Why buy American-made anything when the foreign version costs half as much? So domestic factories close too. You end up in this strange trap. Your export sector is dying because your goods are too expensive abroad. Your domestic sector is dying because foreign goods are too cheap at home. Growth stalls, unemployment rises, and everyone's confused because on paper your currency is strong. Strength became weakness. Winning became losing. Switzerland knows this tension intimately. The Swiss franc is one of the strongest currencies on earth. It's stable, trusted, a safe haven when everything else is burning. Sounds ideal, but for years the Swiss National Bank has actively intervened to weaken their own currency. Why would they do that? Because Switzerland is a tiny country that exports everything. Watches, pharmaceuticals, machinery, chocolate, it all goes abroad. And when the franc gets too strong, those exports become unaffordable. Orders vanish, jobs disappear. So the central bank prints francs and buys foreign currency, deliberately pushing the value down. They're fighting against their own success. And they're not alone. China did this for decades. They kept the yuan artificially weak, even as their economy exploded, because they understood the game. A weak currency meant their factories stayed competitive. It meant jobs. It meant growth. The cost? Inflation at home, political backlash abroad, and a constant accusation of currency manipulation. But it worked until it didn't. Here's where the irony thickens. Politicians love to talk about currency strength. It plays well. It sounds patriotic. We have the strongest dollar in the world. That's a campaign ad, not economic analysis. But behind closed doors, policymakers often want the opposite. A weaker currency boosts exports. It makes your country a more attractive place to manufacture. It keeps factories open and workers employed. But you can't say that out loud. You can't campaign on "we're going to weaken the dollar." It sounds like surrender. So there's this weird theater. Public statements about currency strength, private actions to keep it from getting too strong. The contradiction is the policy. Let's pull back and look at the bigger picture. Currency strength isn't just an economic variable, it's a weapon. Countries compete by manipulating their exchange rates. They intervene in markets, adjust interest rates, impose capital controls, all to tilt the balance in their favor. It's called a currency war, and it's been going on for decades. But here's the trap. If everyone weakens their currency, no one gains an advantage. It's a race to the bottom with no finish line. And the countries that refuse to play, the ones that let their currency float freely or stay strong, often pay the price in lost exports and shuttered factories. The system rewards cheating, or what looks like cheating. The line between smart policy and manipulation is mostly about who's winning. So what happens when a currency gets super strong? There's no clean answer here. A strong currency isn't good or bad. It's a trade-off. You gain purchasing power but lose competitiveness. You attract investors but crush exporters. You look powerful but quietly bleed jobs. And the decision of where to set that balance, it's political, not mathematical. It depends on what you value more, cheap imports or strong exports, consumer prices or factory jobs, short-term comfort or long-term growth. Japan chose strength, or had it forced on them. They're still recovering. China chose weakness until the pressure became unbearable. Switzerland fights its own success every day. So here's the question nobody wants to answer. If being strong can quietly destroy you, what does winning even mean? The men who walked into the Plaza Hotel in 1985 thought they were fixing a problem. They might have just created a bigger one.